It's funny. We spend so much time and energy protecting our digital devices, our phones, our laptops. But what about the most important, most powerful operating system you will ever own? I'm talking about your own mind. So today, we're going to look at our inner world a little differently, by thinking of it as software. Incredibly powerful, totally essential, but also pretty vulnerable.
So, let me ask you straight up, is your mind secure? Do you have any idea what programs are running in the background right now? Are there bugs, or maybe even viruses that are slowing you down, causing you to crash, and just keeping you from running at your best? It's a huge question, because this one system, well, it really does control everything.
To really get a handle on this, we're going to use a simple but I think a really powerful analogy. Just think of it this way. Your mind is the software, the operating system that runs your entire life. Your body, that's the hardware. Your thoughts are the lines of code, the processes that are executing moment by moment. And all those destructive, negative patterns we all get stuck in, yeah, that's mental malware.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll take a look at the OS itself. Then, we're going to identify the malware that's threatening it. After that, we'll learn how to build a mental firewall and run our own internal antivirus scan. And finally, we'll see what peak performance really looks like for a clean system.
All right, let's dive in with the system itself. Your mind isn't just some machine that thinks. It's the fundamental operating system that processes every single thing you experience, every sight, every sound, every feeling. It's the software that literally determines whether your experience of life is one of peace and clarity or, suffering and confusion. And this is where it gets really deep. The source material we're looking at makes this incredible claim that our most important job, our actual mission as human beings, is to maintain and purify this internal system. Why? Because this OS is the direct source of all our happiness or all our suffering. The quality of our software literally dictates the quality of our life.
So if our mind is an OS, then it's also vulnerable. And just like any computer, it's constantly under threat from corrupting code, what we're calling mental malware. But here's the tricky part. These aren't external threats. They start and run from inside the system, often completely undetected. Now, in Buddhist tradition, they have a specific word for this. It's called kilesa. It basically means mental defilements. But for our purposes, just think of it as the technical term for our mental malware. These are the rogue programs that mess with the system's core functions and lead directly to system errors, which is what we experience as suffering. And this malware comes in a few common strains. First up, you've got greed. This is like a program that's always running, telling the system it needs more, making it constantly crave. Then you have aversion. This is your anger, your hatred. It acts like a corrosive script that just damages your files. And finally, there's delusion. Think of this as a fog that clouds your whole display, causing you to misread data and make really bad decisions. And the danger here is very, very real. The source warns that if we just let this malware run wild, we become completely vulnerable, caught in a trap where the system can be hijacked. It's like losing your own admin privileges. Someone else is at the keyboard making you act against your own best interests.
Okay, so how do we fight back? Well, the first step isn't to just attack the malware that's already there. It's to build a really strong defense to stop new threats from getting in. We need to install and configure a mental firewall.
This firewall has a name. It's called Indriya Samvara, which means sense restraint. The idea is simple. Think of your senses, your sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and even your thoughts as open ports on a network. This practice is all about actively managing those ports to filter what comes in and prevent malicious code from installing itself.
So the protocol is to guard all 6 of these entry points. Now, this doesn't mean you have to shut yourself off from the world, not at all. It's about observation without getting hooked. When you see or hear something pleasant, you just notice it without clinging to it. When you experience something unpleasant, you notice it without pushing it away. You're basically processing the data without letting the malware of either craving or aversion get installed on your system. And the analogy for this, it's just perfect. Guarding your senses is like locking the doors and windows of your house. Why do you do that? To protect the precious jewel inside. In this case, your inner peace. You wouldn't leave your house wide open for anyone to walk in, so why would you leave your mind's ports completely unguarded? Okay, a firewall is awesome for defense. But let's be real. Some malware is probably already on the system, right? For that, you need to be able to run an active antivirus scan to find and remove the threats that are already there. And we have to be super clear here. This isn't a fight against anything out there in the world.
The source material says it plainly. The real war, the only battlefield that matters, is inside your own mind. Running this antivirus is a totally internal process of confronting and cleaning up the code that's messing you up.
So what does this scan actually look like? Well, it's a kind of focused meditation. The method here involves bringing all of your awareness, all of your attention to one single point of focus inside the body. By concentrating all your mental processing power like this, you stop all the chaotic background programs from running, and that allows the system to finally see and clear out the malware.
So what's the point of running this scan? Well, it does a few amazing things. It stops the mind from wandering all over the place, which is kind of like closing down a million pop-up ads and useless programs. It forces you to see the present moment clearly, without the filter of old junk from the past or anxiety about the future. When you do that, when you let go of all that stuff, you free up so much processing power, and you end up in this state of pure, calm, and super efficient awareness.
All right, so let's talk about the payoff. What happens when you actually do this stuff? You put up the firewall, you run the antivirus scans regularly. What's the result? You achieve peak performance.
A mind that's free from malware is like a brand new, perfectly optimized computer. It just runs smoothly. There's no lag, no freezing, no spinning wheel of death. Your thoughts are processed with this incredible clarity. The whole system is stable, secure, and it just operates from a default setting of peace. This is the natural, intended state of our mental OS.
And the ultimate upgrade, the absolute peak performance state, is what's known as nibbana, or nirvana. This is it. This is the complete and permanent wiping of all malware from your system. No more greed, no more aversion, no more delusion running in the background. The result is the highest, most unshakable peace and total freedom from system errors, total freedom from suffering.
And here is the absolute best part, the real game changer. This isn't some fairy tale idea for a future life. This state of peak performance is achievable right here, right now, in this life. You don't have to wait for new hardware. You can start this complete software overhaul today. So I want to leave you with this question. Just take a moment and turn this inward. Using this framework we've talked about, what malware do you notice running on your own operating system? Is it the constant pop-up of anger, the background process of anxiety, the virus of greed? Just recognizing the code is the very first step to cleaning the system. So, what are you going to do to improve your mental cybersecurity today?